Thanks for staying with us. I'm Jennifer Fierro, your broad podcaster, right here in the Highland Lakes with this guy, Art Dlugach. And as promised, we're going to finish up the baseball. I'm going to mention that now. Burnet lost on Tuesday night 2-0 to Lake Belton, 2 unearned runs in the second inning. They, like your team, locked into third place. It looks like they will play LaGrange, probably a best-of-3 series. That site has not been announced yet. So I'm waiting to hear back from Russell Houston, the head coach, on that. And they are on a 2-game losing streak with Taylor beating them on Friday 6-1. The thing about Lake Belton, they have not thrown their ace yet, Logan Flores. He's a lefty. One of the top pitchers in that district. There are 3. So I expect Logan Flores to throw on Friday night in Burnet. That is a 4:30 first pitch. That is a change in the schedule. I do want to mention that. Faith Academy survived a shootout 13-11 at St. Joseph. They used 4 different pitchers, did not use Cade Shaw, used somebody else. They are going to have their final regular season game Thursday at 2 o'clock at the YMCA at Burnet, and they are hosting, I wrote it down, San Marcos Hill Country, 2 o'clock on Thursday. They are going to honor their seniors. I'm not sure who they're going to throw. I'm curious to see that because they only play 1 game a week. So that'll be fun. And then we'll get into the playoffs next week when we know a little more about what they're going to do as well.
I want to mention, we've already talked about Llano baseball, and you did mention that the Jackets, after playing Ingram last Friday night, winning 13-1, lost 10-3 to Marble Falls in a non-district game the following day at Scares Field. And I want to add that on Tuesday night, Llano played another non-district game and beat Lampasas 11-1.
Yeah.
And now a record of 11-11. Just wanted to throw that in since you did mention the loss to the Mustangs.
Yeah, well, and that's only because for Marble Falls, they are not going to be a 500 team, I don't believe. I'll have to go back and check. Of course, all of those stories are on TexasChalkTalk.com. Please feel free to check them out there. You and I both know this because at one point Llano was where Marble Falls is today. Being one of the small schools in your classification, that 3-game winning streak means a lot to those players and those coaches right now. It's something they hold and hug tightly. Personally, I know Todd Doucette very well. That's why when I wrote the story, I didn't emphasize things one way or the other. I had no families at both of the school districts, and I cheer for both teams, especially in the playoffs, especially when they're not playing each other, and that includes Burnet. I get accused of that as well, but that includes Burnet. So anytime any of our teams are playing, no matter the sport, I am constantly cheering for our teams and our programs to do very, very well, especially if they're not playing each other. So that will make it fun. Anything else you want to say about baseball before we move on to softball?
I think we've covered that, except whenever there's a mention of Coach Doucette, I've known him 7 or 8 years and remember so well when Coach Green, athletic director at Llano, called me and told me, well, we've got a new baseball coach. It's Todd Doucette. I just thought, that is fantastic. He's just one of the great guys. Llano's very lucky to have him. This is his 5th year, and the kids like him so much, and we hope he's around for quite a while.
Yeah, I would be shocked unless there's a dream job elsewhere.
Yes,
I'd be surprised if Coach Doucette left anytime soon.
I think his wife, a wonderful woman, has a good job in the Highland Lakes area, and I doubt they're moving too soon.
Okay. I'm going to throw you the ball again. You want to start with softball?
Absolutely. The Jackets are co-champions with Blanco. They did play what's known as a seeding game this past Monday night, and Llano lost that 9-8. I know that some people are thinking, maybe those in Blanco, that this means that the Panthers are district champions by themselves, and that's not true. What it means is that Blanco plays the 4th seed from District 26 in the by-district round of the playoffs, and the Jackets play the 3rd seed, and that is Luling, and that will be April 28th, coming up just on Thursday at Liberty Hill. A great venue that is. Llano is 17-5 on the year, and Luling 8-16. Let me go back and talk about that game that decided the seeding. As I mentioned, 9-8 final. Llano came back from trailing 4-1 on a 3-run homer by Madison Klepper, made it 4-4. Then they were down 8-4, tied at 8-8, and then, as I say, lost by a run. So Luling is the main obstacle now, the only one that matters in by district. Luling has really given up some runs. A couple of games in the 20s, 1-19, 1-18, and the pitching staff has an earned run average of 13.50, very high. So Llano is a big favorite, but as we talked about in the last segment, it's just one game, so which favors the underdog, and it's possible that Luling could spring a huge upset. We certainly hope that doesn't happen. So that really pretty much is it for Coach Bo Burnet's team, led by his daughter and Coach Barbara Burnett's daughter, Gwen Burnet, the shortstop. I'm just not sure there's anybody in high school softball who has a better arm to throw from short to first. Oh. And just a delight to watch. And it's a delight to watch Madison Klepper with her stretch when she's playing first and not pitching to take those throws. Madison certainly a leading candidate to be District Player of the Year with a terrific batting average, and she's just an all-world pitcher. Already has committed, or if not has committed, they think she's coming to Western New Mexico, and she's just a junior, and so that'll be in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's Gwen?
No, Gwen has an offer from Florida Atlantic. Madison Klepper has an offer from Western New Mexico, and pretty much says that's where she's going to play.
What grade is Gwen in?
Gwen is just a sophomore.
Okay, that's what I thought. Is there anything else you wanted to add about the Lady Jackets?
I think I've covered them. It's been a good year, and it made their 6th and 7th games of an 8-game district schedule. They beat Comfort 1-0, a thriller with a run in the last of the 7th inning. That clinched second. Then they beat Blanco in the 7th game. This was last week. They beat them 8-6, and that clinched this tie for first. And then they lost in the seeding game, as I said, played at Wimberley, so 2 consecutive venues that Llano is very familiar with. Wimberley for that game, and then for the upcoming contest against Luling, it'll be Liberty Hill.
Okay. Burnet ended up losing their play-in game 6-1 to Georgetown Gateway. I think Gateway scored all of the runs in one inning. Devastating loss for the Lady Dogs. Really thought that they would go to Gerald, play in a neutral site, and get a win. But it's interesting to me because I don't know that. I said this in a video earlier this week on this same channel, The Broad Podcaster on YouTube. I know that loss was just so difficult for Burnet. But they've got 2 underclassmen pitchers. Their catcher is an underclassman. And I think their catcher, Cameron Guthrie, might be the best all-around player on that roster. She seems to have all of the tools. I think that she will go D1 if she continues on the upward trend that she's on. This kid, every time I see something about her on social media, she's constantly working on her game. she's constantly working to improve her game in one way or the other. So I just wanted to say that I know that it was a difficult few days for the Lady Dogs to not even get out of that district, which tells you how difficult that district is. And then when you feel like you have some unfinished business, and I think that that's how those players and those coaches are looking at it, but I believe that they will be better for it. Unfortunately, I think you learn more from losses than you do from wins, and you and I know this. Every time we've talked to championship teams, and I ask them, what drove you that season to win a title? 9 times out of 10, they tell me the results of the year before. That they didn't forget what happened the year before. So, with that said.
Well, I want to say that the young lady who's the catcher, if you are a good catcher, then you will go farther along in your career, if all things equal, than almost any other position except pitcher. But if you can catch and throw that ball to second base when they're trying to steal, or to third, then and you can hit, then you certainly will be somebody that the colleges will be looking after. Let me throw in one point about a catcher, since you mentioned it. Kimball Schusler, the former Llano High School catcher, several nights ago hit a home run for Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was, we were able to see that on Facebook. The video was passed around, and we were very happy for him. Started his career at Texas A&M and transferred to Texas.
We're going to close this segment out. Art and I will be right back. We still have a couple more sports to cover. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Oh, and please like, subscribe, and share the channel.